Someone said this version definitely says the N-word, and I'm like, damn. Now think about it for real, because now, what are you gonna do when he does say that? Not if, when, because we know he says it. What are you gonna do, cancel him? Nah, he'll cancel you! Now this has to be my favorite comment. Alright, so here's the situation. A few months ago, I was doing a little bit of art style studying. I was studying the art style of comic book artist Ryan Oatley. For those that may not know, he worked as a comic book artist and writer on the Invincible comics and is part of the team working on the Invincible series. I always had an interest for his style in particular, so it's around a week or two after the glorious season 3 finale where I decided, you know what, let me study his art style for a bit. It's in the middle of studying the style I find myself scrolling through images of the Mark variants from the Invincible War. After scrolling and observing for a bit, I find myself subconsciously putting ideas together, and eventually I decide, you know what? Let me give myself the challenge of designing and coming up with my own variant design. Where are my manners? What up YouTube? It's your boy Double M and I'm coming back at you with another video. Let me take you through my Mark variant design I did a while back. So what made me want to do this redesign, other than getting the idea in the middle of studying Oatley's style, was that at the time I also took the challenge of doing character redesigns. For the past year or so, I've been busy with a lot of redesigns of other characters.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
I have a few out now that I have done, and I have a whole lot more in the chamber, in the magazine. So I suggest you guys stay locked in on my IG and my Twitter to see all of them. I am not calling it X, it is Twitter. Me personally, I think for someone involved in character design, doing character redesigns is a good light exercise to get my design instincts rolling. Creativity and a sense of originality can be a bit difficult to attain for some aspiring designers. It especially was for me earlier on. But the thing I like about redesigning is that it doesn't demand too much, which makes it a good place to start as a beginner, as a youngin'. Mixing and matching from existing ideas and coming up with your own, I feel, gives me that reservoir of ideas that makes it easy to tackle original ideas. And if you think about it, just think about it, nothing in this world is 100% original. Anything and everything created in this world by humans is a combination of 2 or more pre-existing ideas. So doing redesigns, I feel, is a good exercise to get the mind firing, to get the pen working. Besides that, it's just a fun exercise to do, give your own twist on designs, But anyway, being in the middle of other redesigns and Oatley style study, I decided, you know what, why not make my own variant design? When sketching ideas out, I wanted to have a simple design that just had 2 colors. I wanted to choose from the set of colors that come from most of the variants. I didn't go with white because of how common white is on the uniform of a Viltrumite. When it comes to the uniform of the Viltrumite Empire, there's a uniform that the normal soldiers wear, and then there's the uniform the leader, the regent, the emperor wears. Those that have read the comics know what I'm talking about. Look at Mohawk Mark and look at Thread.
I am done with you and your son.
So I had blue, yellow, red, and black to pick 2 from. Looking at the variants that have the colors I was choosing from, we have a blue and black design and a yellow and black design. The only other variant with red on had a red and white design. So I thought to myself, let me make a variant that has a red and black design. So after a few drafts and a whole lot of sketches, I came up with this design. It's after completing this design, I decide, you know what? We've been studying Ryan's style for a while now, and we just finished this design. Let me try to draw this design in not only Ryan's style, but also in the style of the animated series and in Cory Walker's style, another comic book artist that worked on the comics and is also part of the team working on the series. I definitely learned a lot, but I had fun doing these. Let me know if you guys think I got the styles down, and let me know if you're actually trying to see an art style study video on either one of these art styles. Or you're trying to see me break down all of their art styles in one art style study video. Now you guys are asking for too much. With the time and attention a video like this needs, you guys would have thought I left YouTube. You guys might actually get GTA 6 before this video comes out. But nah, for real, jokes aside, If you guys really want to see a video where I break down either one of their art styles or all of their art styles in one video, just let me know down in the comments and I'm gonna make it happen. I shared this design on my social media a while ago, and to this day you guys continue to show your love for it. This ain't no understatement when I say I am truly grateful. You guys blew this design up. Over 1k likes on Threads and over 10k likes on Instagram. I don't usually get love like this, man. With all the love came comments that I also loved. As part of the Invincible style challenge I gave myself, I decided to draw a scene that hasn't happened in the series, in the style of the series, to see if I could try and convince people that this was an actual scene that happened in the series, even though it didn't happen. I even captioned it. You guys seen that new episode? A lot of people did think it was a scene from a new episode, so at least there I knew I got the style down, but I still had to explain in the comments that there wasn't an actual episode out. There were some special comments. Someone said, now draw him giving birth to Langstrom. And I'm like,
What made you go with that verse?
I wonder what it takes. You know what? I wonder what it takes to come up with such a specific request. This probably isn't your first time asking for something like this. Bro probably goes around the internet collecting drawings like these with requests of similar nature. I just can't prove it. Of course, I did get comments from those that didn't like the design, which was okay, you know. Design is subjective. There are designs out there that I think are just horrendous. I took constructive criticism wherever I could and kept it pushing. But there were just some I had to respond to. Someone asked why he got on a dress. Number one, that's not a dress. That's a hip cape. What you can't see, dumbass. Number two, Thrag does it and no one asks questions. But as soon as I do something similar, not even like that, similar, people start throwing a fit. Someone else said, Angstrom's still alive. And to you I say, are you sure? Like, look closely at the illustration.
Are you sure?
Someone said this version definitely says the N-word. And I'm like, damn. Now think about it for real, because now, what are you gonna do when he does say that? Not if, when, because we know he says it. What are you gonna do? Cancel him? Nah, he'll cancel you! Now this has to be my favorite comment. He probably started saying it as soon as he got his powers.
How about next time you get a board that can handle the neutron style? Later,
There were a few comments that suggested names and backstories for this variant. Now I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even think that far. I knew eventually I'd have to give a backstory and a name to this variant, like how other variants have names. Sinister Mark, Mohawk Mark, Mustache Mark, Shiesty Mark.
Off! I got this.
But by this time I hadn't come up with any ideas for his name or backstory. I thought to myself, let me try to come up with something by myself and mash stories that were being suggested in the comments and come up with a name and backstory, sort of mashing up what I came up with what was being suggested in the comments. But there was just one comment in particular that was just too good. I just decided to mainly roll with that. Allow me to introduce you to Nicolas Page history and the backstory he left in the comments. I did make a few tweaks here and there, but the credit largely goes to him. Slight spoilers for season 1, especially episode 1. Gather around, children. In this universe, now let me stop joking. In this universe, Mark gets his powers a bit earlier than in the canon story. He gets his powers round about in his early teens, 13, 14, somewhere around there. This is where Norlin starts to train him, teaching him of his abilities he has as a Viltrumite, even touching on differences a Viltrumite has from a human and any other life form in the universe, especially the lifetime a Viltrumite has. But he doesn't tell Mark yet of Viltrum's true nature and his mission on Earth. For a few years, one can see how Mark's character has slightly changed. The fact of how different he is from the rest of the people on Earth starts to sink in from Nolan's teachings and from his own personal observations. However, one person that does keep him grounded and hopeful for humanity is his mother. The connection with his mother he has is strong. You can tell it's strong. So he still stays a hero. He still decides to stay a hero like his father, saving and protecting others. Others that he slowly starts to see as weaker than him. In this universe, because Mark got his powers a bit earlier, Nolan has actually got the chance to prepare his explanation of his true mission. Instead of being forced into it like in the canon, Nolan sits Mark down on a far mountain and tells Mark the complete truth. Initially, Mark rebels and refuses to accept what his father has just told him, but because of how he feels, he relates to the humans, and because of Nolan's approach to the topic, something in Mark makes him stop and think. Freezing mid-rebellion, confused and stressed, he abruptly flies back home, leaving his father on that mountain. Nolan knows what he just told his son was a lot to take, but he also knows that things will never be the same from here on out. There is no going back to what was. Now is the time to take action. That's when he takes off from that mountain to continue the rest of his plan. This is when he goes to kill the Guardians of the Globe. Now the fight between Omni-Man and the Guardians goes out not exactly, but pretty much the same way. Omni-Man completely wipes them. But one thing changes. This time, instead of Green Ghost just taking that disrespectful palm to her face, she manages to get out of the way of that strike, but not completely, as it strikes her knee, severing her leg. Now this is where Immortal thinks that Ghost can't do anything in this fight, and rather shouts out to her, telling her to fly to the Global Defense Agency and tell Cecil of this massacre that's taking place. Now the thing is, with Cecil, he never really did trust Nolan, and knowing that Nolan was doing all of Mark's training, he didn't really fully trust Mark either. Green Ghost eventually does make it to Cecil to tell him what's happening, but by this time Nolan had already handled the Guardians and was on his way to his home where Mark and Debbie were. Cecil is tracking Nolan and knows where he's headed, so he comes to the decision to kill two birds with one stone. As soon as Nolan arrives, Cecil teleports the kaiju monster to their home, instantly crushing the house with them in it. Nolan and Mark are fine, of course, but it doesn't take long to find that Debbie was crushed and killed instantly. It's the death of his mother that finally sets Mark off, unlocking that Viltrumite rage and helping Nolan defeating the kaiju. Losing the only normal person in his life, and after learning that it was Cecil that sent the kaiju, is when Mark snaps and finally decides to help his father in taking over Earth, preparing it for Viltrumite rule. Even though these are two Viltrumites, taking over Earth was not an easy feat. Nolan dies in the process, but eventually Mark manages to take over planet Earth. The Viltrum Empire arrive to find the great Nolan dead, but are also impressed to find that Mark has accomplished his father's mission. In preparation of Nolan's funeral, Thrag, along with some other Viltrumites, discover Mark's and Nolan's lineage, realizing that Mark is the heir to the throne. Thrag then steps down as regent and devotes his life to training Mark as the new emperor, Superior Mark. Let me know what you guys think of his backstory. And again, my thanks go to a lot of people that gave their ideas in the comment section. A few people, including Nicholas, gave the idea of the name Superior Mark because of the red and black being similar to the design of Superior Spider-Man. Let me know what you guys think of the story and the design. And let me know if you guys are trying to see an art style study on either one of those Invincible art styles or all of those Invincible art styles in one art style study video. But in the meantime, I got my art style studies you guys can enjoy. God bless, and until next time, Double M out.
Safety.